Alright, I'm awake. Hello, and welcome back to some good old game development. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. Hope everyone's having a good one. Oh yeah. What a way to start up. Just sneeze. Oh. Alright, as I get things sorted, I hope everyone's had a good time. Luckily, no, catastrophic news has come out since the last time I streamed, so we don't have to worry about, talking about a company falling apart again. Nice. I like when it's a little bit more relaxed and, the world's not ending. It's a nice change of pace. There's nothing I can really do there. I'd be able to do a little bit of overhead, but oh well. Well, that reminds me, I need to disable this, because this is just gonna be laggy as shit if I don't. I'm pretty sure it'll be laggy. Actually, I'm curious how this will be launching on stream now. I've done a bunch of optimization in the background. Alright. What do I have planned for today? Oh, that's a hard one. It's probably just more data entry stuff. Or transferring data over. Kind of what I've been doing a lot at the moment. Oh, but yeah, and hope everyone's weekends have been good so far. This weekend was a weird one for me. I actually have no real good way to describe how this weekend was. This failed to run? Didn't look like it was, yeah, okay, it just wasn't building. Wait. Yeah, I'm trying to even think what really happened that wasn't just me working. Nah, didn't have really anything incredible happen. It was a very, very boring weekend overall. I did work, I went for a couple of walks. Oh, Noxie and Snakers did some model building for Warhammer. I think yesterday Noxie was doing a bunch of painting as well. But other than that, no. I kind of focused on my work. I watched some videos from time to time as well. Did I see anything interesting at the very least? I don't know. Again, I feel like this weekend was just a very good, passed by, but not in a... I didn't feel as productive as I could have been. That's one thing. Especially the case. That I felt, yeah, that's something I feel a little disappointed in. I could have done a lot more. But, it is what it is. Aside from that, I have gotten better at getting in my exercises at least. That's something. Yeah, okay, so right now I'm seeing exactly why I turned the Steamworks thing off for stream. Is because it takes so long to launch with this on. It actually is, the fucking irony, by the way, is that it launches faster when I'm off stream with the Steamworks on, which is the weirdest shit. Like, I actually don't know why. Because, yeah, now it's about to, yeah, now it's launched. Alright, is there anything I need to think that is visually added in? Not anything too insane. I've been working around with a lot of the trigger architecture and getting characters finished up. And getting the layouts done for how I want to do characters in general, like improved upon, stuff like that. One of the things I did add in for testing purposes in a sense as well is regen is in, so you can see how this is actually ticking up. Slowly. Yeah, that's probably one of the main things as well. Regen's very easy to add, by the way, especially with the architecture I've got going on. Yeah, game did not like me tabbing out like I did. Fine. So it's very simply the code for that. Might as well show it. So we have here, we just add a cooldown with a function in it. And the function is just literally it runs a heal, but it pulls the player's regen value, and then we have a player heal value here, and it's basically you get your target player, the amount you're going to heal them by, if it's going to get amplified by a healing thing, and then I go through, I get triggers, run the triggers with combo trigger handler, which is something we did ages and ages ago. Add the heal, and then make sure it doesn't overcap. Hey, Sweeb, how's it going? Doing a recap. I'm just kind of going over some of the stuff that I've worked on since last time I did stream, because again, I've been doing quite a lot, but not a lot in a progression that's like very interesting. So it's because like one of the biggest ones is so I've redone up how I'm writing out the characters. So I'm just using the raw constructor instead of making stuff through the because before what I did was I basically had them all in a list here, and I would be using the character create struct function and inputting it all via that and doing it that way. This way technically is worse to do, but it technically means I have significantly more control over a lot of events and can visually see it in front of me. So it's a guaranteed point. But I've been adding in all of the stuff in here. I also updated the client, so a couple of issues that I had been having for a long time have now been resolved, which is good. One of the issues, and it seems really basic of an issue, but now these, when I want to collapse sections, it actually collapses now. It didn't collapse before, which was really starting to get quite annoying, because then there would be just lots of scrolling, and it got really just frustrating, unnecessarily so. But yeah, I've just been pushing over the characters, putting all of the data in here. Keep in mind as well, we're still at the stage where we only have Iron Mouse, Matara, and Mume in, and we don't even have them fully implemented. And like, this is already what the code looks like. And this is just all 3 of those characters. Like, you can see, here's Mume's. And keep in mind, Mume is the last of the characters we've got on the list. And yet, she is line 315, all the way down to, like, she's nearly 300 lines of code herself, and that's not even done. Like, you can see here, there is still stuff to be implemented. And we haven't even started on, like, leveling up stuff. So, like, each character being probably, like, I'd actually say the average is somewhere between, like, 500 to 1,000 lines per character. And keeping them all in the same file. I am for now. It's probably gonna cause me some problems. However, like I said, now that I can collapse them, I can do this. Right? Like, if I'm feeling like this is overwhelming me too much, I can collapse them now, and that's why I'm a bit more willing to do this than I was before. Because, yeah, this makes a huge difference to being able to just collapse and only focus on a singular piece. Had to do a bit of work to fix the IDE settings, though, because some of those got reset when I did the update, which was really annoying. But yeah, mainly we've been working on Iron Mouse at the moment, which I'm still not sure how I want to handle certain things. Hey, Devil, how's it going? Because I'm pretty sure that's how I've written it. And be player functions. Yeah, that is how it's written. Trying to live, that's fair. And I had some problems today. Oh, that's never fun. Never fun at all. Turns out you broke one of the cables? Did it just get bent to a specific way at some point? Is that maybe what happened? I know one of the things I've done a couple of times is it's gone like under a door and I've closed the door on it and it completely... Dude, I had an HDMI cable that did that and I fucking pissed me something off. Like, it got sort of caught under a door for like a fraction of a second. It just was enough time to snap all the wires in it. So I was like left without an HDMI cable for quite some time. That's, yeah, so I can understand the frustration of broken cables. Okay. Was moving cables around to use different socket and bent at a dumb angle. Nah, happens. It's one of those things that I hate because it's like the gut response is like, oh, well, at least it was a learning experience, but it's like, yeah, but like sometimes those fucking cables just break because they just because whatever. So I can't even say it's a learning moment. It's just sometimes just shitty cables, and it sucks. Nothing more, nothing less than just it sucks. One thing I did finish off while I was, over the weekend, I did finish off that one manga that I said I was reading. The one which was like, again, I'm just reading a lot of villainous stories at the moment because I'm just enjoying them again. Who is it fucking... I can literally bring up the search manga thing that I have for it here. This one. So this was the one that I talked about last week that I started reading, and I finished it off this weekend. The Person in a Villainess. I highly recommend this if you kind of enjoy villainous stories. It is amazing. However, I will say, there is an anime coming. Apparently an anime has been announced for it, so if you want to wait for that. Was it worth it? It had possibly one of the most satisfying fucking endings I have ever read in a villainous story. Like, holy shit, there are two elements to the ending. One of them is one of them's part of the epilogue, one of them's... I will only describe it this way. One of the things that's not in the epilogue, that is one of the best parts of the story and how it's ending, is the what happens to the heroine, like to the original hero, like of the story. Like what her fucking outcome is possibly one of the best fucking moments. And there are so many moments in this manga where I'm just sitting there like, oh yeah, go slay, bitch. Yeah, fuck yeah, for the main character. So I highly recommend it. It's really good fun. I very much liked it. Alright, this is finally loaded. Hey, there, Sun Moon fan. How's it going? But yeah, no, it's definitely a good one. The next one I was reading was it's actually on the same list. Kill the Villainess. That one. I'm only like 30 chapters into that one. But that one's a manhwa instead. So it's going from manga to manhwa. I remember why I started getting like frustrated with that. And I just ended up reading only manhwa at a time, or only manga, because it fucks with my brain too much, switching between the two. But that one's interesting. Its quality is good, its storyline is interesting. I just think some of the writing, like there's certain moments where I'm just kind of like left with this doesn't quite come out right. I don't know, it's good. It is good, though. Nope. What's that? Have it in your will read one day list. Yeah, I don't know if I'd say, like, it's an urgent read, personally. It's good, but it's not bad. I'm going to try and figure out how to make a game design club for high school and making games in Godot. I mean, a game design club at high school. That sounds fucking cool. I mean, the thing that I'll always say with game design, that, like, is very vastly misunderstood is there is a lot to game design. So, if you're gonna do something like that, try and advertise more than just programming. Getting artists involved as well, because I'll be honest, in my experience, there's normally more people interested in doing art for games than there are for programming games, so do not be surprised at that either. But that's, you could argue that's like very much personal bias experience, but that is something that I can at least say in most of the stuff I've experienced. Which, honestly, be thankful for that sort of thing. If you just set up like a lunchtime thing, that sounds great. I wish there was something like that. I wish there was something like that back when I was in school. That'd have been awesome. To be fair, game dev when I was in school was like Yeah, let's not think about that, actually. But yeah, no, because like there's always just finding the cheapest options as well, especially if you're doing a high school club. Sounds great. If you need any random advice, I'll see what I can offer. But obviously, I'll always stress, like, I can only say so much. But like, yeah. That sounds like a cool time though. If you can get that going, that sounds great. Very reminiscent of what's that one series? Oh god, it's the one that I talked about recently that is got one of the most fucking weird names, but it's such a good anime. It was like How to Train a Boring Girlfriend, I think it was. Or How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend, that's right. Which is like 100% not actually what that story's doing. That's the thing that's most fucked up about it. It's such a poor description. What the fuck is this music? Just gonna skip along with it. Using GameMaker for this, what's your opinion about your engine of choice? So, I've talked about this on a number of occasions, and I always stress the engine is never pick engine before project. Or if you be careful when you do. That's actually how I should probably phrase it. Because engine is a tool. Your game engine is a tool, and it is 100% based on what Pascal's. Yeah, but it was just being. I know I'm playing a literal Nier Automata thing at the moment as the music, but like that was just it's distracting me. Anyway, GameMaker for my case is because since I'm not as heavily focused on UI, I'm primarily playing with a 2D environment. Because I'm just making a Vampire Survivors like a game, it makes it the better choice for me overall, as well as I'm getting back into programming after many years of being away from programming. Like, I think I've been away from programming for like 5-6 years before getting into this. 5-6 years? No, less than that. It'd been about 5 years. 4 or 5 years. Something like that. So this was me getting back into programming, which is why I'm having to refactor the project at the moment. So I'm now like, okay, I've got a baseline of what I wanted kind of envisioned there. Project, game engine, game. Yeah, you're not wrong with that. I mean, how much do you know about stuff like GDDs and stuff like that and TDDs? Like technical design documents and game design documents. Because that's always a big one as well. It's like, when you've got like a team together, especially brainstorming, hey, what do we want to do? Like all that sort of stuff. You kind of have to find out what everyone's interested in the most. I know about GDD, cool. Because like that's a very important early stage of a project, is to do that, because the best part of it is, do not think it's set in stone. always go back and revise it. And you can have it as casual as you want, especially if you're in a informal setting. Just know that, like, that document is 100% like everyone's gospel to go back to. It's like, if something's left up for question, if you can't look at the GDD to get the answer to, like, this sort of a subjective point, then you need to add that. That's always how it kind of comes down. It's like, oh, what did we kind of want to do here? Oh, we kind of want to do this. Okay, make that written in the doc so you know, everyone knows they can come back and see that. That's always the big thing. How come did I stop? So I stopped programming for very simple reasoning. So I have been in software design space and working with software since fucking primary school, basically. And keep in mind, when I say primary school for me, think about how long ago that was, right? So we're talking multiple decades. So it's been a hot minute. And that's back when, like, making a website was pretty much the grandest thing you could do at that stage. For schooling. So what ended up happening, long term, was... How do I describe it this? I did some shitty jobs coming out of high school. I then went and worked in software. I did that for many years. And then I kind of got to a point where I wasn't happy where my life was going. And I wanted a massive change to improve it. So I wanted to, and like I was kind of realizing I wanted to go be a teacher. That's the big thing. So that's why I went and did my degree. And then I stopped programming during that entire period of time, doing that degree, going and searching for a job with that degree, failing to find a job with that, and then kind of going, well, you know what, fuck it, I'll fall back on it. And at the time of me starting to fall back on the idea of programming was when there was the big surge of kind of like indie development feeling environment. Again, people may say this, speak of this person negatively, but irregardless, this section of time in particular was where Pirate Software was a huge positive influence, where he would again, the go make games kind of mentality, right? So like that's when that was becoming such a huge influence at that time. So I was like, you know what? I'll get back into programming, and I'm going to get back into programming via gaming. And that's why I started working on a bunch of different little projects. And this is what this is. So, yeah, simply, I stopped programming for years just because I'd done it for too long. And my life was not benefiting from continuing to go down that line. I know that was like a real roundabout way of explaining it all, but it's like, it is very much the whole, there is a lot going on for that. But, yeah. Okay, where was the value I need for this again? I was surprised to hear you'd stopped at a point, but to be honest, I've also just been scripting the last years. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where my little tale there is a very generic tale, right, is like, you just get to a point in your life where you're like, you know what? I'm kind of fed up with this. I've done too much in this field, and I'm not feeling like I, myself, am moving forward in my life anymore. And it was really, really shit feeling. Like, I did not like where I was sitting with things. This was also while I was with my ex, right? During that time. So, like, I was looking for a way to be a better person and do better things than just be a grumpy software guy that would work a number of hours that I don't think anyone should have to work. Thinking about making a 3D game, but I don't know how to program, so I was thinking about making a 2D Lethal Company game with proximity chat. I mean, what I'll say immediately to that is go make something really basic and simple first, and build from that. Build a game with each of the kind of like elements in it that you want, because the moment you go into making a game, and you're like, I want to make this first, you're gonna never be happy with yourself. That's why I say, like, if you're gonna do kind of like a high school group thing, my personal recommendation is like set a small time window, right? Like, oh, we'll make a very basic game in the space of 4 weeks, right? And then once those 4 weeks are up, you just move on. And you keep trying to progress with that sort of stuff like that. If you want an example of what I'm kind of talking about with that, if you give me just a sec, I'll finish this code. And close project. Yeah, it's one of the things that, like, because the second degree that I'm in the middle of technically, and I'm not going to probably finish, was a software engineering one, right? And one of the things we had to do for game dev aspects of it was, if you give me a second, the end of this, right? Cool. Here is a project that I believe we were given 6 weeks to make this. And this was 3 artists and myself. So vast majority of the programming was done primarily by me. No, it was 4 weeks. Sorry. I think it was 4 weeks we were given for this. And this was done like 2 years ago? So, I apologize that this is not going to look amazing. I'm going to pause the music because this does have sound and everything. But this will give you an idea of, like, you learn more by doing something and experiencing it and failing and all that sort of stuff than you do from just going, like, looking up tutorials, realistically. So this led to me experimenting with a bunch of different things as well. And doing all sorts of stuff. So again, this was a group project that was done. So I thank my teammates hugely for this. They did an amazing job. Again, one of the artists really stepped up with helping me program a bunch of things. And it led to me having to do more work because I had to write things better to make them more clear what to do and what not to do. Write up very well documented things, but that's actually a good thing in general. I could probably look through this project, see what I did back then, and do way better this time if I was to reapproach this game again. Right? But, like, I like the, again, that's why I give the description of if you've got a game you kind of want to do in mind, go make a bunch of games with, like, single elements of that. And then you can start adding things together later on, and then you can realize, oh, like, okay, so this is how I actually put all of this together. When this fucking launches, it's been so long, what the fuck? I know this project's, like, sketchy at best. I did not write this very well. Any day game. This game also was way more ambitious originally, but that was back when we had 2 programmers, and the second programmer never contributed any programming to the project. She turned up, she helped with doing some documentation on the first day, and then fucked off and never came back, and is why I really fucking had enough of my of that course. Because, like, I had several times of that. God, I forgot how dumb this was. I hate the children! Not parasocial, I have the same opinions, yeah. But as you can see, again, very basic game. You can see with how a lot of the mechanics are. We do have collision in. We have a bunch of other things. Tutorialization. I tried to make the game as visually appealing as possible. I think is it? Yeah. It doesn't actually. This was supposed to work as a button, but it doesn't. The engine for this is still Game Maker. So you get interaction. You can skip dialogue, by the way. If I hold enter, it will just skip. And now, if I come over here, you can see how there's a thing here. This is also tutorialized, so this is actually glowing because of the tutorial. If I click on this, then I click on here, then I can click on Shroomy, and then I'll accept this quest. And it's basically you get units, you do quests with them, and you get the resources to escape the village eventually here. Is this BGM public asset? Yes, I'm pretty sure. Because we didn't have someone that was sound savvy. But yeah, like I can go in here and you'll see there's a cave area. The audio is different for this environment, and there's different dudes to go talk to. And they just crashed the game. Oh, I see what happens, yeah. Doesn't really matter. Point is. But like if you want an idea, where am I looking? Like I have all sorts of stuff in here. There was way more going on with this game though originally. Like I have a script for the changing the rooms. I have the cutscene scripts here, which you can see like I have written not too bad of notes in some of these sections. The art is original? Yes, the art is all original. And you can see here, this kind of goes to show a lot. This is all of the cutscene stuff, and it's literally, this is where you'll see all of the moments where, okay, so here's the, basically this is what will be written, this is the sprite that will be attributed to who's speaking, and then it just goes through like that every fucking time with everything, and it will just go ordered fully. I did not do mentally well during this time because I was working about 50 hours a week on some of these projects. Like, I was spending all my time on this, and I had been having a lot of bad stuff go on in real life. So it was not fun. But yeah, cool little project, I agree. If you're curious about it, I believe it's over on itch somewhere. I don't know where, though. But, we did have this, this is publicly available somewhere. I can't remember where. But yeah, UI scripting. It's all my, my stuff for that. Global initializer, so this is very much how you start each thing. Using certain symbols to be replace font points, which was quite fun. This was the input system I used, so how you get your keys going through. Yeah, fun fact, there was actually going to be breeding in this game. Like, you would breed units together to try and get better units. Like, it was pretty far along. But, like, the problem was that, again, this project was, like, 4-6 weeks. I had other assignments due at the time, and I was the main programmer for this. There is a point in time where I have to give up. And that was one of the things I had to give up on, because I was working on other things at the time. And, like, a good chunk of this is done in the most, like, quick together ways to make it easiest for me and the other people working on the project. One of the things, like, to give an idea, and this is what I'll always use as a lovely moment, is this section here was not written by me. Originally. This was written by the artist that was doing a bit of the program to help me. We did a bunch of different things, and then I just did this instead. Because we're trying to do something finicky and weird. I just used the easy option, in the end. And that just goes to show, again, like, he learned a lot during that project. And he was a massive help to me. But that should show, like, again, regardless of how, like, competent a developer is, there are also elements that you cannot, like, go past. We all start out fucking up originally, and the worst part about fucking up sometimes is that you have to live with your fuck up. That's why I don't go for a big project initially, because you want to know what you're doing before you go into the big project, because you don't want to do big project with, like, being in a situation where you want to come back, you're working on it for 5 years, because then, like, 5 years down the line, if you're not as competent as you'd have liked to have been to start off with, then you will come back to that project and you will hate yourself. Because, like, every time you come back to it, you're having to deal with old standing issues and problems, which is what I'm dealing with currently, right? You want to have a level of understanding when it comes to doing game development for the initial part of your project, where you can at least future plan enough that you know how to design your code in a way that means that it's not going to block you from doing other stuff long term. Bit of a masochist. I do enjoy my fuck-ups. Best way to learn. Oh yeah, no, there's a reason why I'm saying don't do big project first. Learn, fuck up. Fucking up is one of the, like, most essential tools for learning the most you can. Especially when it comes to programming, because you'll learn way more than you will from a tutorial. By screwing something up and having to rewrite it several hundred different ways. Like, I've made my own 3D engine for a project. Like, there's so many aspects of stuff, and I'll always stress this as well, is never let anyone tell you you're not a game developer, right? Or, like, try and gatekeep what it means to be a game developer. That's something I've always gotten really annoyed at since getting into game development, because all that does is it's just like, no, you're just being an ass. If you are creating something, designing something, even if it's imaginary in your head and not on paper yet, you're still designing something, are you not? You're still designing a game, so therefore you're a game designer. I describe myself as an amateur game designer, but that's also, like, already an argument there if I don't like people saying that. I just say it and I'm a hypocrite. The important things like that. But yeah, the best way to learn is to muck around and see how things work. And that's why I say, like, it's good to find mechanics you want to learn how to work with and make those individually, because you'll learn how they should function, and then you can put them together eventually and go like, oh, this isn't functioning the way it should be. Why? And then you can backtrack. Say I'm Hideo Kojima. Honestly, hell yeah. But yeah, no, I'll always encourage people to go make stuff as much as you can. It's best. Creative activity should never be truly gatekept. That's something that's just kind of fucked up. Cool, that's working. Don't worry about that. Ugh. Okay. Speak of the Devil is working then. And it's working as intended. Oh. Which that's good. It's good that for the most part the code was pretty much the exact same as what it was before, except it's just like, I guess, slightly easier. Someone who decided to throw all his hobbies for years, focus on knows what, I agree, yeah. No, it's, I don't know, one of the things I'll definitely say is, like, game development is definitely a huge hobby to me, which is kind of why, like, I have mixed feelings of working on some parts of it, right? Like, this is a hobby that I can't make money out of, and I just kind of have to do it. And it definitely has led to more than enough stress and a lot of fucking motivation issues. But again, if you're going into game development for making money, you're kind of going at it the wrong way if you're doing it for, like, indie reasons or anything like that. Do stuff be, I mean, artistic, no matter what comes out of... Yeah, well, I mean, yes, that is actually the case, though. Just go do creative things. Like, even one of the things I'll stress, well, I gave advice earlier, don't take that as gospel. Do what you think is right. I'm giving you my opinion and my advice on the matter, but take it no greater than that. Do not take it as you must do it this way. My suggestions are founded with some experience, mind you, but, like, outside of that, it is still my own experience. You need to inform yourself what you're gonna do. Right? It's a very important thing to try and keep in mind. Right now, I want to start/look for a medium big passion project. Yeah, it's really hard with some of that stuff, eh? Like, I've got the card game I want to work on, I got this that I want to work on, and then I got, there's another thing I was working on with someone else that, like, I've not been able to fucking touch in months. I'm definitely getting to the point where, like, outside of working on this project, I kind of only do design work. Which is not good, because then I'm starting to fall into that category of person that's like, hey, I got a really cool idea, you just do all the work and I make profits off of it. Like, I don't want to be that person. Even if I ever get to the point where I'm, like, bossing people around, I'm still probably doing work. Especially initialization phases, right? That's just how I work best. I work best at setting up a system, designing ideas, implementing an initial project thing, and then just going like, cool, someone come along and fix this and polish it so it functions correctly, or, like, completes the design idea. That's definitely... Ideation phase is definitely my strongest point. Learning to delegate is also vital. Yeah, like, so this is where I will say there is a point in time, so again, having been project lead a lot of times, there are many people that will just sit there and go, you're just sitting there doing nothing. And it's like, okay, are you handling the business emails and the correspondence? No. I am. I'm doing really boring shit and dealing with people, which is what none of you want to fucking do. All of you want to go do this, this, and this. Guess what you're doing? You're doing something either similar, or you're doing something that I would like to see you work on more and improve upon. Now, I've said this before. This doesn't mean that there hasn't been times where I've definitely exercised when I was, like, doing a project management position thing, where I definitely stretched my ability to, tell people to go do shit and didn't do anything myself. There are definitely times where I did that. I'm not a fucking perfect human being. I know what I fucking will do. But, like, also, yeah, you have to know what you're doing at the right time, and you need to never go with it. But yeah, that's why the vital part is delegation. Can you tell how much I did project work, by the way? That's why, like, the projects I worked on at uni were, like, always I ended up as the leader. is just because the way I think and the fact that I've always been a project leader in the past has been really easy for me to just naturally fall into that position, which is even funnier because I actively try not to. Because I sit there and go, look, I could do this, but that doesn't mean you guys get to learn. In fact, how I handled being in group projects most of the time was when it came to the actual, like, not the project, like, contents, but, like, the delegating things and designing things, I would actively sit there and go, okay, what do we think should be done? And I bridge it to everyone, and I kind of give direction and lean towards things, but I always let them try and make the decisions. Which is how I handle group projects normally, but it means that it's letting them learn that experience, letting them grow in that field, because then they get to go like, oh, well, it's not being the project manager, but it's like soft being the project manager. It's learning what you can do in it. One of the things that will always make me the most depressed with project roles is when people would speak out. So, like, okay, this happened a lot when I was working, but it would happen a little bit, it would happen very frequently when doing it at university. So again, like group project sort of stuff where people are a bit more amateurish how you approach a group thing, but it did happen at work. Where people in the wrong position would speak out of term to try and comment on something because they know something, but that's really bad to do. So what I mean by this is, let's use a very loose work example. If I have in my meeting with me, say I'm project lead, I have head designer and head artist with me, right? And a question gets brought up about how long will the art take to get done? And the artist kind of responds with something, and then the head design programmer then also comments. Or potentially speaks first. Do you know how bad that looks? That looks incredibly bad. So what I'll always stress to people is if you're in a project, recognize what your kind of position is in it to know whether or not you should speak up at a time. And because if it's like, okay, the topic is about this section of stuff, which isn't your area, the person next to you is that's their area. If you need to speak up in that situation, you have to be extra polite during that time. You need to, 100% need to make an effort to go, hey, I'd like to speak up about an element of this that I'd like to speak to on it. And then you broach it, but you be, again, ultra polite during that time. If you can't, or if it feels a little bit touch and go, if you would, request basically a recess and go talk with the artist about it, going like, hey, what you were saying was an overreach in this area, or hey, you missed this. Don't leave the people out to dry, but also don't overreach boundaries, because there's a huge lot of things with that. Best thing be to talk to about it with the person involved first. Yeah. So what I mean by this, I'm trying to think of like an example I can give that's not gonna get me. Like I'll probably talk to a group project from uni the most. So we've had a number of times. So again, most of the group projects I'm in, we've had like me and just artists, right? Because I've been very unfortunate with almost all the programmers I've worked with. One of the times we were having a discussion with one of the lecturers, basically as our kind of like weekly report in. And I was talking about what had been done in terms of the actual like framework architecture that had been done in the last week, as per requested. And then the one of the artists that wasn't working on the programming commented on something that basically me and the lecturer had to tell them that is not relevant and that is not important and it is actually really bad to bring up. Because it's unnecessary and it's something that needs to be brought up with me independent, if that is the case. I think it was about like their access to the Git repository, to the repo for it, and then basically saying something that made it sound like they've never actually accessed the repo, and we were like halfway through the project, which was really bad to basically do, because that makes it look like, as me being kind of pinned as the leader, I haven't double checked with my people that they've actually been contributing and accessing the documents, and it also looks bad because that student then basically looks like they're not actually actively wanting to participate. So it reflects badly on me and it reflects badly on them. And that's one of those things where it's like, that was a huge speak out of turn. So the lecturer basically said, it's like, okay, one of two things has to happen here. And they basically said to me, do you think you can walk them through the process and get them set up? And I said, yes. Do you think that will affect your time scheduling at this stage? No. Cool. After we've left this meeting, you go resolve that. And I'm like, yeah, I will. And that person just basically afterwards like, oh, sorry, I thought it was best to bring it up when I could. And I'm like, you need to bring that up with me directly. Because if I told you, I haven't worked on this for 2 weeks, how do I access this? In front of like someone very important at an actual job, how do you think it will go? And that she immediately was like, oh, I'm like, yeah, because the lecturers are acting like our the commission, basically. So it is very much, you need to learn when. One of the hardest parts about IT when you're dealing with project stuff like this is learning when you can and cannot speak. That's something I'll always say. Very irrelevant to the vast majority of people out there, especially if you're doing amateur projects. It's something to keep in mind, but like, it is definitely something that is a lot lower relevancy. However, the moment you hit the working world with that shit, oh, you need to be good at that. One of the things you'll learn real fucking quick as well, if you're working in game development or any like higher end thing, you need to know what you're allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say. This is the biggest thing you'll ever learn. Because fun fact, a lot of people underestimate how strict these things are. So, say, if you... Riot Games actually has released a lot of stuff about this, so we'll use them as an example. Riot Games has a lot of fucking strict NDAs. And there have been many a times where people have been let go, and people are like, why? And it's because the person was so excited about something they worked on, and they talked about it with their friends. And that is a breach of the NDA contract. People need to understand that, like, no matter what, if you have signed something like a non-disclosure agreement, you can barely talk to your friends about this. And if you do, you need to have it strictly, clearly understood. This cannot go no further than the conversation. I've talked about number of things with some of my best friends that are skirting the lines of what I'm allowed to talk about, based on NDAs and stuff. But I'm like, I need to express my thing for this. However, I never breach an NDA, and I never, like, I've never broken an NDA in my life. And I've fucking signed a lot. Yeah. That's one of my biggest things I've got going for me, for that at least. It's very much understanding that sort of stuff. I mean, sometimes one of the hardest parts is even saying you're under NDA is already kind of breaching the NDA. That's why I say, like, there's certain realms where you can. One of the ones I said is, like, for example, with VTubers, I couldn't speak to certain things on it because I'm like, hey, even I have things. I have contracts. So I understand why, like, especially for some of the talents, they couldn't say fucking shit. I had to explain the NDA a few hours ago, and I'll get ignored because on the other side of the call there were like over 20 years of experience, blah blah blah. Yeah, risk who was at risk of breaching an NDA by even saying that he signed a legal document. Yeah. No, okay, so real talk, there are actual NDAs that say that. That, like, the benefit I have is that I've signed so many NDAs and legal documentation in my time, I can actually say I've just signed a lot. But there are some that, like, even me saying that is questionable. But I have the benefit that's like, no, I'm referring to these. If you're thinking of this, then that means that you're pushing this narrative even greater. But yeah, no, there are times where you may have signed a document and you cannot even mention that you've signed the document. That's the case specifically in, say, governmentary positions, or military. Military is a big one for that. I mean, I've gotten in trouble because I've talked about some of the stuff where I've been, like, offered contracts. From different things. I mean, I still remember when I was at uni, I got offered a contract, by a military division, and I remember reading it, and I'm allowed to say that I got offered it. I can't really fully explain what was in it. I've talked briefly about the elements of it, and most of that is conjecture, because that's where I'm allowed to toe the line. That was about it. If the NDA doesn't clearly say that you need to pay millions of dollars in case you break it, nobody gives a shit. That was their argument. That's not... No, because breach of NDA means you go to court. That's the whole fucking point of the document. And the oh, God. Like, this is the thing that a lot of people misunderstand as well. Like, so if VTubers is shut down, right? Let's use this as an example. If VTubers is shut down, that does not void all of their NDA contracts. It can, as part of the request of them shutting down, especially if it's shut down via a court case, which is likely to be the case in this way. At a very long court. Yeah, no, I could expect that to be a frustrating one as hell. Yeah, no, I'm actually, like, slightly tilted for you. If someone says you broke the NDA, then you have to prove you did not in court legally. Yes. And that's why I say, like, I'm very careful with a lot of the things I'll say sometimes. Because, like I said, I can say I've signed NDAs, I've signed legal documentation, I've seen what they're like, I've seen this and that. I'm very careful about what I say with that, because if one of them goes, cool, he said on stream he's signed an NDA, this is a breach of our NDA, there is an immediate court thing where I can just go, did I say what NDA? I actually have plenty of NDAs I can disclose that I have signed, that I can give evidence of, that I've signed, not what there is in there. That will be my counterpoint, and that is why most of them won't take me to court, because a lot of them know that I probably have. Even a simple Google search explains how NDAs are handled after a company dissolves. Yeah, I'm sure it's very easy. Like, it is, again, an NDA is best, kind of think of it like this. It's an item put on your inventory. It's not the enemy that's applying an NDA aura to you. It's that they've applied this debuff to you permanently. Or until it expires. Think of it like that in game terms, right? That's actually how an NDA works. NDA isn't like the company emanates this effect. It's the company gives you the effect, and the effect is now on you. Is now tied to your character. They can be voided by the company when it disappears, but it can still be enforced. It's 100% dependent on the NDA. Often the NDA itself will write, will have something along the lines of basically, this is only enforced as long as the company is, basically functioning, like is working. There are some that will just straight up say, this is for your entire life, go fuck yourself. Again, those tend to be government ones or like much higher end ones that have state security in mind. Each document can be different. Yeah, NDAs are different. Every NDA is written differently because it's each company has their own ideas of what they want said and what they don't want said. And what we're in an era is like, people think NDAs suck because like, it's like stopping freedom of speech in a sense and all this sort of stuff. It's like, yeah, but it's also protecting people. We're in a very entitled era and a very toxic era when it comes to like, if something goes wrong, I do not want certain people being found out that they were involved in something, because you know that they didn't want, like, it's very likely some people worked on something and they weren't happy about working on it, but they knew they had to, and then that thing goes badly, and now they're in a situation where if the public eye realize they're involved in it, immediately would go fucking terribly. Right? Like, their lives could be crushed and destroyed. I already feel bad enough that, like, people will be, like, I don't like using this example more, but VShojo. There will be people leaving VShojo, like, workers leaving there, that had no actual involvement with the bad side of the stuff that went wrong. But that's the thing, is these people are going to go apply for a job, and these companies might sit there and go, yeah, but the last company you worked at failed at this, and it was pretty bad. We kind of can't accept you. And it's like, that sucks. People can abuse the NDAs to keep others quiet, but NDAs are also, yeah, no, don't get me wrong, NDAs are abusable as fuck. I've fucking signed them some that I'm like, I really wish I hadn't, but I had to. Okay. Give me a moment. I need to search my mind for to answer this next part. If I'm gonna answer this next part. Yep, no, I can speak on that one. Cool. There was an NDA that I had to sign as project lead one time. I think the company's since been dissolved, so I can speak on this because it actually did have that as one of its terms. The rest of the NDA was hyper toxic, right? Like, it basically meant I couldn't talk about shit to even people in my team. And I had to draft up... Oh no, it's not dissolved on the company's... with the company, there's something else. I can speak loosely enough about it, is the thing I'm trying to stress. I won't be in trouble for this one. So I had to write up NDAs for my own team, independent of mine, because they didn't know how many people would be in the team, and they didn't care, like, who was getting brought into the team, as long as they signed a non-disclosure agreement of some aspect, right? Now, again, I want to stress, this one was... If it wasn't for the fact that this was a really good contract, I would not have signed it. But, like, that NDA was fucking disgusting. And what we had to do on that project was fucking foul as well. But, made us a lot of money. I can't, like, this probably gives the best example. Because of the wording in it, I can't even tell you how many people worked on it in the end. I can tell you I had to write up NDAs for the other people that worked on it, though. Anyone else involved in that project, I had to write up an NDA for, and I had to write them up each time individually, because I needed them to I had to write it in a way that, as an example, if someone was working on one section, they couldn't know anything about anyone else's work. However, another person needs to know about their work, so they need to be allowed to communicate to them asking that information, but that person can't ask in response anything. Do you have any idea how fucking stupid that shit is? It was one of the, like, most frustrating experiences I had getting some of that shit working. Now, again, it's not per se NDA at that point. It's a little bit more than just technically an NDA, or less than an NDA. There's all sorts of stuff going on. It was really dumb, though. But the point is, though, is that the... Yeah, so coming back to the original stage of this all, where it's like, NDAs suck ass. But they're essential. It's just if a company abuses them or not. They're very easy to abuse. So what? Trigger system. Find trigger. Trigger const. Okay, thank God. That is what it is. No, it's gonna be array and index? Yeah. It's like, this is when I breach, like, fucking open up the floor of like, oh, what's an NDA you guys have had to sign? And what was involved in it? I mean, what? No, don't tell me. NDAs are so fucking bad, though. Yeah, or if you ever sign an NDA, please fucking read it, by the way. I had someone that got in a lot of trouble for that. Speaking of, like, people getting let go because they breach an NDA, yeah, no, I can say that. I had a mate, well, I say mate, I had someone I was working with that accidentally broke an NDA. Fully accidentally, because he didn't read. He couldn't say, he couldn't say something about the project he was working on, and he accidentally said it in a meeting. Not realizing that it was a breach of NDA, and, like, I immediately saw, one of the higher-ups, like, go fucking white-faced. And basically tap the table, look at that person, and then indicate to go outside with him. And all of us were like, what's going on? And this is one of those times where you hate that there's, the windows for the meeting room, it's all, like, glass windows. We saw the conversation, and you just saw the person that had fucked up, like, actually just, like, very clearly being told what had happened, and just the soul leave their fucking body, and then walk away. The other guy come back in and go, I am sorry to inform you all, but as of effective immediately, due to a breach of NDA, the, X is now leaving the company. And we all were like, oh. By the time we were done with the meeting, that person had gone. Like, they'd cleared out their office and left. And it was really fucking sad. And that's how fucking quick it can be sometimes. It was... That's not the worst I've ever seen, but that's the only one I can speak about. Without getting myself in trouble. And that just goes to show how serious the stuff is taken. I can't even tell you what was said that might breach the NDA, because, again, technically, while I hadn't signed the NDA, that could put other people liable. But the thing was said, and basically, the guy in charge, the person that had told him to leave, had to obviously go and talk with that company, or their contract, sorry, and basically offer a change of stuff and whatever. I don't know what ended up happening to that project. Again, not my area. That wasn't set my way, so I didn't ask anything further. But that's just an example of how fucked up that shit can feel. But, like, I had a guy from an office make a few jokes at me, and he accidentally made a joke about thing. Realized that he should not have said that. Yeah. Like, that happens. I've normally been very good about if someone, per se, would slip up on an NDA, and it's in a very private setting, I will inform them very quickly. I could have you, like, you need to not say that. I understand this is a very social setting, but you need to have not said that, because this is something that is could jeopardize your career. Not even your job, your career. Very unfortunately, next to the office of my boss, who did say, yeah. It's upsetting. It's really upsetting. It happens. It really happens a lot more than people think. Fortunately, he only had a private HR meeting, got a bit of shit for managers. It's good when that's how it's resolved. I much prefer that, but like, that's the difficulty, especially when it comes to software, especially when we're talking about like using a loose example, especially when we're talking about things that could potentially jeopardize the security of a company or an individual. Because keep in mind, that's one of the difficulties when you're working with software, especially in just like contracted things, is that there are some times where like you can say something that can then be used to get into said company via a backdoor method. And even saying like, one of the ones that will always catch me off guard, and this is on an NDA, I can talk about this element of it. There was an NDA I signed where one of the things it specifically says I can talk about what the NDA said I can't talk about, was what I remember reading in it. One of the things I could not talk about was what engine we used and what language we used to write the project in, for example. And that was something that I can say would be quite common, because that's a big thing. So let's move to a different subject. Did I like the shorts about the D&D campaign you sent? Yes. I always enjoyed that. So, I mean, like I said, I still watch a lot of Adventurous as well. Like, I watch random D&D shorts from time to time, because it's fun. I don't know what I'm gonna need for this, though. New... Good const. And name... There we go. Alright, I started watching this campaign while playing a silly roguelite. Loved the little half-dwarf half-goblin repeating his DNA machete. Yeah. Dude, I love some of the dumb shit that he gets up to in those campaigns. Again, it's not hard to try and convince me to do D&D, it's just hard to find a way for me to do it. I think that's actually what it's come down to at this point for me. On heal. Self. also joined your secondary groups. That might be fun. I think it's purely time is my problem nowadays. Like, finding the time to do stuff is just fucking hard. Now, I need to figure out how I'm approaching this, but this should be fine like this for now. Don't funk to. Oh, this needs to be an array? Oh, yeah, that's right. It needs to be an array. In case it would trigger on multiple. There we go. I wonder what times I even have about, because the problem is I'm about to get really busy as well coming up soon. More busy than I already am. I'm not happy about it, but you know, work is work. I feel like drawing right now. You guys want to see some drawing? I want to do some drawing. I still want to get a fucking new tablet, man. This goddamn little thing is starting to piss me off. What do I want to draw? I could probably get some more work done on another splash art, maybe. Welcome to why, again, I hate refactoring, is I suck at, like, just rewriting the same thing over and over again. I like making things to do this shit for me for a reason. It was Philly and I was working on last time, right? Still not happy with its shaping. Not shaping out the way I want it to quite yet. Specifically, one of the things that's bugging me at the moment is this section here. I'm trying to figure out how I want to approach it better. Also, this just 100% looks like a fucking Uma at the moment. Alien Gallery. I think I've got the tail right for Fillion. Problem is, most of these fucking reference arts here don't have goddamn thing. Well, I've seen the Hololive girls got horse ears. for their gameplay. Clearly, that's what I need to do. What ears do I have again? I have dog ears and cat ears, right? Where is add-ons? There we go. I'm bored. But do you see what I mean, though, with the shaping? It's difficult. Wow, is that image really that small? That's kind of fucked up. Wondering if what I need to do. Find that. And then, what do I need to do with this section, though? I still don't know what I need to do here to make this feel a bit better. Maybe do that to it? That also just looks abnormal, though, right? Maybe a bit like that. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Oh, fuck. Shit, but the baby, There we go. I'm surprised none of y'all are commenting on the fact that I just toggled on the goddamn ears and, like, nothing else happened. I'm actually a little disappointed in y'all. Yeah, thank you, devil. God damn. It's like, you fool, I have now 4 ears, so I can hear you all the much worse. Yeah. Right, there we go. How many pairs of programmer socks do you keep in your closet, Catboy? Joke's on you, I haven't gotten any yet. Okay, real talk, you wanna know why? You wanna know fully why I don't have any of them socks? It's because I, 1, don't look that great in them, and 2, I overheat really easily and can't be arsed. If I wore that shit in, like, if I wore, like, full-blown programmer, like, femboy fucking outfit in summer, I would probably die. You don't have the money to buy them. That as well, but, like, that's also, like, I'll figure it out if I needed to. To be fair, I can't say shit. I've been needing to buy clothes for, like, 2 years now, and I haven't fucking... Most of my clothes have been falling apart for years. Not enough. I mean, that's basically what I'm saying. So I would if I could. I just don't pull that shit off. Again, I'm too big and, like, broad to pull off, like, outfits that I would love to do. If I was more petite, there is no way in hell you would stop me. But I am big guy. Open a Throne account right now? The fuck's a Throne account? You can always program naked. Who says I don't? Dude, when it's summertime, I fully have to ensure my camera does not turn on. I can say that with damn certainty. The fuck is a Throne account, though? Is this something I can look up on stream? Is this like where people can buy shit for you? Oh, God. Wait. Throne of Eldraine. God damn it. Don't know. Throne. Release your soul. Wishlist for creators. Ugh. No, don't tell me this is actually something people use. Is it? Oh. Dude, I think I'm scummy enough with my goddamn Ko-fi bar. What the fuck? That's... Was born to support creators, obviously went quickly in a different direction. Oh yeah, no, 100%. Not gonna make any judgments about the fact that the first one I see is just Pixel X Kitten. Is a wild name to see immediately. No judgment of that individual at all, just that's a thing. So some VTuber had a little shit like a pack of chips to eat on stream for their Throne. Why? Why? I mean, I get it. I get it. In fact, it would be really funny for a stream. But, like... I feel like this is a thing here that I would never be able to handle myself. Like, I would never be happy with the idea of running something like that. I'm not saying people are wrong for running it, I just feel scummy if I did it. Like I said, I feel scummy enough having the fucking bar on the bottom there. And that's basically what that is. That's... Oh, boy. I mean, it's good in a sense. But some put screaming. Yeah, like, that's what I was thinking immediately with it. It's like, I like the idea of that, where it's like, oh no, you know what? The amount of times I've said, for example, hey, if I get, like, this game, yada yada yada, that would be a great way of doing the whole thing of like, oh, we'll do a bunch of streams with a console, right? Like, using a console as an example. Like, if I go, okay, I'm gonna put a PS5 on there, and that's so we can go like, no, we'll do streams with the PS5 if it's bought for me, but I can't justify buying it myself. I can see that as a fairly valid point, especially for a much larger creator. But, like, the fact that, yeah, as you said there, it's, like, had clothes worth a few K on there. It's like, that just feels real. I feel really uncomfortable at that idea. I wouldn't mind buying games that will be played on stream or contribute to new mic / PC equipment. Yeah, like, that sort of stuff where you're like, hey, look, I've put this here. This is me going, like, I would like to get these, but they're not essential. I mean, that's basically, again, what the PC is for me, right? Oh, your programmer sucks. God damn it. Dude, if I ever got programmer socks, I 100% I'll fucking take a photo of that shit and you're gonna see hair spilling out. I have very hairy legs. There's a reason why it was real funny. I think I've talked about this before. It was real funny earlier in my life because, like, outside of a little bit on my forearms, I didn't have any like body hair on my upper half of my body. But my legs, since like I was this moment I could grow hair there, it has been like my legs are bushman sort of fucking legs. They're like hairy as shit and thick. I Not an entire stream. I mean, I could do an entire stream, I guess. If you wanted an entire stream with a camera pointed at my feet, wait a minute. You're gonna have to pay me real well if you want that. Dress look real funny on you. I mean, yeah. There's a reason why whenever I would wear a dress, I had to wear, like, good stockings and shit. There was a few times I did shave my legs for it. A stream where we could, have a cam of the socks next to the VTuber model. God damn. Now that sounds... No, what I need to do is I need to get, like, position the camera perfectly so I can have it, like, the legs sitting up as if they're coming from the model. And now he acts like it's a money problem. If you... Hey, I know my worth, alright? You won't see feet for an entire stream, you gotta pay for that. You can get teasers all the way through, but that's when you gotta pay. I have some dignity, I'll have you know. I want to stress, it's a very low price point, but like... This is the problem. Okay, I've said this before, and this is probably why it's good we don't have a throne account sort of system. I am 100% someone that if someone goes, hey, I want you to wear this, I will buy it for you, I will not say no. I have enough dignity to not buy it myself. That is the only thing I've got going for me. Y'all have asked, can I wear a maid outfit? And I've said, fucking buy it for me. So we're not setting up a throne account because y'all are going to abuse that shit. Goji summer. What is it? Okaidi? Oh, I can't remember the full thing. So where's your throne account? I ain't doing it. No. Tell you what, buy the PC first and then we'll consider it. I want to at least have the good PC before I start selling my body. Wait a minute. The old femboy. If only. Like I said, don't have the body for it. I just don't have the dignity to say no. So I think the music just ran out. Yeah, music ran out. God, that was eerily silent. That kind of fucked me up. But yeah, sure. Ugh. Like, I look like a fucking tank. I could never pull off that stuff, man. No, you know what I realized recently? So, I was bored, and I was, like, sitting there going, okay, my hair's gotten pretty long again now, finally. Like, it's pretty long now. Do I want to do something with it? Do I think it's long enough? Do I want to start trimming it back? Do I want to just go back to short hair? Or do I want to style it? So I was bored, so I was looking at hairstyles. And like kind of outfits and try, because I do need to buy some clothes some point this year. I was just like looking around at hairstyles that would work. And I'll see if I can, because I think it was this one, the Shave Cave I was looking at. Right. I was looking at them on my phone, I think it's the problem. Oh god, that's a hell of a fucking spot for that model to freeze. Okay, this web page does not want to fucking load, huh? Computer's catching up eventually. One of these days. How hard is it to load it? What is your fucking optimization website? This is a bit much. Google wants to know your location. We're sending agents to your location right as we speak. Yeah, no, I was looking. Yeah, this was the site I was looking at with the styles, which I've had a beard that's basically been this before. Like, I don't think I'm gonna not want a longish beard. Like, I definitely need to trim it up at the moment, the one I've got, and look a little bit better. But, like, I was looking at these, and I'm like, this looks kind of cool. But the problem is my hair is, like, really curly. So, while this probably is the way to go, I need to, like, do some work with it. I can't do this, because this shit requires it to be, like, way more, like, flat. Even if... And no way in hell I'm doing a fucking mullet. But, like, this looks pretty decent. I could do this. Basically what I look like normally. My hair just being all over the fucking place. Wait, did they really put it in 10? Well, I mean, I think it's just number, not, like, actually reading. is the thing you need to take away from it. It's just, this is style number 24. It's not, this is ranked at 24. The good old shag, though. Miss those days. But yeah. This one looks kind of along the lines I'd do, because I have very naturally curly hair. And now that my hair's, like, below my shoulders by a good bit, something like that would probably be doable. But, like, this is just stuff I do from time to time where I just look at these and I'm like, I'm curious. I don't really intend to go to a barbershop anytime soon. Alright? Or a hair salon or whatever. So, I'm being very incredibly lazy with it all. I've got the ears wiggle a little bit. Oh, do they move when I blink? Is that what they're tied to a little bit? Yeah, they look like they're tied to the blinking a little bit. Interesting. Huh. It's curious. I never do that, because the moment I ask anything specific, oh no, they'll fuck it up. I mean, I have a friend that I could probably ask to do my hair, but, like, it's just... I'll be perfectly honest, I'm kind of at the stage where all I want done with my hair is it to be, like, cleaned up and the ends trimmed up a little bit to, like, stop fucking split ends. Because I want my hair to be a little bit more stable. I don't really care past that, I'm gonna be honest. I actually like having the long hair, it's quite nice. I do know when summer rolls around, I'm gonna fucking hate it. I'm gonna be tying it up even more than I do now. So I need to probably find a style that looks good with my hair off my neck. Because that's one of the biggest things, is like, if you have long hair, for me specifically, what ends up happening is that area behind, on the back of your neck, just heats up and gets super sweaty. Because I sweat very easily and a lot. And it just starts to feel like a swamp back there, and it feels very disgusting. So I don't want to do that shit again. That's actually the major reason why I tend to, like, avoid, that's why I didn't like long hair for the longest times, because I was just like, I just don't want the sweaty back, back of the neck. It's worse when working out as well, because, like, you can only tie your hair up so much and get it out the way. And I tend to get, again, very sweaty when I'm working out because I sweat naturally a lot, so yeah. I mean, that's why I've said this, I think, before. I still want to set up my sensors for my my VR thing, so I can actually just do Beat Saber in my free time. But I used to get so incredibly sweaty while playing Beat Saber. Like, I'd be glistening afterwards. Okay, that looks a bit better. Can't find the liquor mode. God damn it. Oh, that looks really hard to look at because of the red and green like that. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to change that, like, immediately. Because that's actually just hard to look at for me. I assume it's probably not much better for other people. Oh, that's too much on this side. There we go. It looks right. The knee's about the same. So the height's about the same. Maybe it could come down a little bit. Bit more like that. Because it still kind of needs to be a bit further up because of the... And it probably just stays there then. Ugh. God damn. Getting this positioning right is going to be annoying. I think the dress is just wrong. I think it needs to be a bit more like here. And be like that. The tail still doesn't look like a fucking cat tail, right? She's a cat. I think the bend over here is just too extreme. I think it's the actual problem. Maybe more like... Oop, shit. A bit more like that. Because it's not actually like that bushy as the other thing as well. Oh, you know one thing that got brought up, and I don't really, now that I'm thinking about it, but I've already brought it up, so we should probably finish with it. Fuck, I don't know. There's something that got brought up at one point, and I was curious about it, and there was an answer to it finally, and I have mixed feelings about talking about it. So, the new season of V-Card has come out, right? Big deal, looks awesome. But there was a character in it that was not in the first that was in the first season and wasn't in the second season. There was a question as to why. People basically, the immediate thing that I saw people going is like, oh, it's because her and Shay Lily have falling out. And I appreciate, was it Giga? Came out and gave the official response for it. Which is, again, a perfect example of actually how, like, people in this community are very much not that... Well, the actual VTubers are not as petty as people think they are. So, what I'll first start off with is the fact that Shay Lily has expressed very, very adamantly she actually made it so she doesn't have a choice in who gets put in and who doesn't. As to... Or, like, not final say and all that sort of stuff. She doesn't get that. Because that's not the point of the product. It's not a card game about her and her friends. It's a collector's thing to celebrate VTubing stuff. Right? So very much, I agree with that sentiment a lot. It's the whole point of this game, after all. Now, the answer that was given by Giga was actually that the individual in question had gone full radio silent, so they actually just couldn't get a hold of them. And that's actually they'd gone full radio silent. That's why they didn't get included. And I'm like, that's actually really nice to give that clarity, because you knew people were gonna go like, hey, is this is this something we can read into at all? And I kind of, again, we've had enough fucking drama in the VTubing community this year. Can we just fucking be normal for 5 minutes? To be fair though, Penn did say he's going to be going for another holiday soon, so I expect like the community to fall apart again, like something to go wrong. Because every time he takes a fucking break, shit goes wrong. In fact, when the shoujo fell apart, he decided to go play a game of League of Legends, so I fully blame him. Because why not, right? Why not? Why not? As you should. It's just, look, every time he takes he goes away for a trip, something goes wrong. I think at this point in time, it's valid to keep blaming him. You know what? He should just realize he's not allowed to take a break. But yeah, no, fucking... That's it. Needs to be closer. There we go. It's nice doing pixel art for once. Been doing a lot of other art recently. It's nice to do some more calmer art. It isn't so, yeah. God, this is... Until I, like, do the rest of her features, she is actually just gonna look like an Uma to me. I should probably design up the footwear at some point. Yeah. What color should I use for the reference point for this? This isn't being used, right? Wait a minute. Oh my god, it's not Fillion. It's the Avatar! Oh my god, who knew Aang wore a sailor uniform? The best part about drawing is how much you can do some really fucking stupid shit like that. It's the Avatar! Oh my god. Are you Prince Zuko? Hell yeah. Wait. No, I don't have something I can do at, like, quick speed for that. Damn. I was gonna, like, put a fucking thing over my face to make it look like I have a scar. I will find the Avatar and restore my honor. Uncle, stop drinking tea. I need to be edgy. And I need someone to witness this edge so I can brood in the corner. Young Zuko, you need to understand that every good brooding session requires tea. I've had enough of that, Uncle. I need to be angry. My father disowned me. Stop being a fat oaf. Zuko. I'm not an oaf. This labor is an earthbit. God damn it. I've been watching too much Avatar recently, though. It's fucking permeating in my brain. What the fuck is this style of hair? Seriously. Uncle, need a pair of socks for my new hobby. What might that be, Zuko? I don't know if I can talk about it. Actually, okay. Do you think Ira's gotta like if Zuko turned around and said, "Hey, I want to dress like this. Do you think... I'd think Ira would be accepting of him. He would definitely chuckle at it. But, like, he'd definitely be fully accepting. He would have an adjustment period. He would definitely struggle for a moment or two. Can he get sued over that? What do you mean? I'd never get sued by Nickelodeon. They're a really respectable and nice company. What do you mean? They would never do something like that. He might question the choice, but he would say, he would not say no. Oh yeah, like that's 100% how I see it, right? Is he'd be like, it is your decision to make, Zuko. I will not get in your way. But, are you sure that dress is a good match for you? Like 100%, that is how he would say it. Then there's kind of fucking... To be fair, based on, like, his partner, she would 100%, like, do something to him like that one day. Is it Lee? No. What was her name again? I can never remember. I'm not sure he'd question it that much. I mean, he'd be comedic about it, right? As he's just like, that dress doesn't really bring out your eyes or some shit. My eyes, yeah. In the comic, Zuko and Maya got apart. Did they? Oh, you know, they do, right? Like, they do go their own separate ways eventually. But, like, I mean, they do have kids, if I recall correctly. Don't they have at least one kid? I think they have a daughter, right? I think that's what it. She left his ass because it did not give enough attention because he's busy with the country and all the story and stuff. Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, like, to be fair as well, of the characters, was it Toph had multiple partners? Because I'm pretty sure all of her... her two children are from different fathers. Pretty sure. It's not confirmed who her mother is. Zuko might have had a kid with Maya, but he also could have had a new wife somewhere along the way. Maybe. I mean, he would have to have produced an heir, right? Even though the government tree system of the Fire Lord got kind of changed a lot. I would assume that they'd still have to have some form of, like, royal hierarchy shit going and continuing on. Yeah, no, I do know Zuko has a daughter, though. I 100% know that Zuko has a daughter, and she is very much like Mai, which is why I'm like, I would feel that that's the case. I'm curious, admittedly. I don't even remember all the... Because Zuko has a long storyline that actually expands through the comics about him finding his mother and shit. If I remember correctly. Right? I mean, Toph also does as well. Toph's story is pretty interesting in the comics. I think they... Remember the newer comics coming out about her doing, like, her first metal bending school? I haven't looked into it yet, though. I say it's newish. I think it was like fucking 4 years or 5 years ago. It's a long storyline. Yeah, it's because, like, doesn't he even go into the spirit world, if I recall correctly, and shit? Like, here's an intense storyline go on. Because it is, like, one of the largest scale stories that never got finished in the original story, in the original Avatar series. The whole Aang having to kill him because Roku told him to, so Aang severed his connection to Roku. Yeah. There was a lot that went on. I remember that. It's been too long since I read those comics, I think. I need to reread them, maybe. Might be a fun, like, endeavor to do. To be fair, the whole storyline with Zuko is always really interesting because he is literally the perfect example of, like, antagonist move to hero story side, but, like, really well done. Because he has such a fucking intense development throughout all of it. Is there any other, like, core details I feel like we're missing? Not really. With this, I mean, there's the hair tufts, but, like, I can draw that towards that for now. Myself something to work from. There we go. Well, I mean, we're also getting the movie, I believe it is. It's a movie coming up. Like, is it beginning of next year? That's going to be following some of the, like, adventures of Team Avatar post, like, when they're a bit older. So maybe we'll be seeing some stuff there. I'm curious what they'll do with it all. I won't deny that there's mixed feelings, and we've talked about this before, about them reapproaching the Avatar series this heavily all at once. With, like, Magic getting stuff for it, with movies, with another TV series on the docket as well. Like, all of this coming together makes it feel a little... It reminds me of what happened with stuff like Star Wars, right? Where we got a shitload of Star Wars stuff all of a sudden. And it just felt really shitty. Because, like, you get one or two things, you're like, okay, cool, we're happy with this. Then you start getting, like, 5 things, you're like, hang on a minute. Some of these are, like, not high quality either. And now we're at a point where, like, Star Wars feels a lot like the MCU did for a while. Where it's just, there's so much content, irregardless of if it's written well or not. There's just so much going on, and it's in so many different locations. It's really not fun to track. Didn't hear about that one. Yeah, no, there's a Avatar series coming out, or Avatar, I think it's a movie. Not that one. There. It's just literally the movies, The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender. Be released next year. February 2021, along with the formation of Avatar Studios, a new division of Nickelodeon dedicated to the creation of projects set in the universe of Avatar. Premise. Taking place years after the events of the Avatar The Last Airbender, the film will follow the series' main cast in their young adult years. Yeah, that's all we've got to go off at this stage. So there you go. Ugh. That's why a lot of us theorized with the Magic the Gathering set that it was Avatar. Because we had 2 things to go off. It was the last set of the year and we hadn't had it announced. There was something that heavily implied it was to do with elements and bending. And the fact that then, yeah, there's a movie coming out not long after that, pretty much at the beginning of next year. we were like, it kind of all works together really well. Like, that feels like a very clear, like, advertisement window that would be really beneficial for a lot of, for all companies involved, because it's like, it's riding off the hype that there's going to be stuff coming up. Yes, by the way, I 100% fully acknowledge how scumbaggy it kind of is. Because it's just like, oh yeah, no, the magic set is like an advertisement for a movie that's already like touch and go of an argument of whether or not we want it or not. It could, again, I reserve my judgment on it because the writers and directors have been doing other stuff as well, and all of that's been really good. So I'm curious to see. Because just as a soft reminder, in case people may have forgotten, was it The Dragon Prince, the Netflix series, which I fucking love that series, was also written by the same people, and it even has some of the same voice actors come over for it. In fact, I believe the older prince is actually the same voice actor as Sokka. So, there's that. I'm not gonna lie though, I'm still fucking miffed how long it's taking to get more Dragon Prince. That series feels like it takes forever. God damn. I get it. I do. I truly do. And I'm not trying to be that person that's like, oh, fucking hurry up, I want more. But, like, I kind of want more. Kind of want to rewatch it, actually. I'll be honest. I'll finish my Avatar rewatch for now, though. I got other series I need to be watching as well, so. The long fucking list that it all has been. We were up for work in 5 or 6 hours, so bye. Catch you later, devil. Have a good one. Have a good sleep and rest. Oh yeah, that's right. In about a bit over a month's time, as daylight savings starts up again. That's gonna be fun. Now the question becomes, do I stay waking up stupidly early? Or do I and basically stream 2 hours earlier for everyone? Or do I take the opportunity to move back to being at 8 a.m. that I have to get up by, and my mornings end up being super slow again, and I can stay up later again? There's a temptation for both. There's a temptation for both. I think it'll depend on what's going on at the time, is how I will answer that. Because I tend to wake up naturally earlier in summer anyway. Just because it's hot, so I tend to get much worse sleep. Can't wait to have to figure out a way to, like, cool this room, because this room is very good at keeping in heat. Being a small room and everything, right? Actually got decent insulation. Da, 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 da. Okay, there we go. One thing I underestimate is how much a human being warms up a room, especially when that human being overheats naturally a lot. Yeah. Again, I heat up rooms a lot. Very, very easily. So having a room that's, like, measurable by, like, was it fucking 1, 2, 3, 4 by 3 meters-ish? It is insane sometimes. The biggest difference that's probably going to change between, like, now and summertime is obviously how much I'm, like, the clothes I'm wearing, because I'll probably wear shorts a lot more often, and maybe just singlets, and my windows might be open. Which is why I'm definitely leaning more to the inclination of starting at 8 AM instead, because if I start at 8 AM instead, it means that I'm not interrupting people, by having my windows open, and then talking potentially loudly. It also means I might be coming into the stream a little bit less drowsy all the fucking time, as well. We'll see. Because I've talked about this before. I like going to sleep at like 7, 8 p.m. Sometimes I'll be later, sometimes not. I'm fairly consistently going to sleep at like 9 to 11 nowadays. And that's partly because of the environment I'm in, where like the people I live with, they go to bed at like 10. So there's a part of my brain that's like, oh, well, they're awake, so you got to stay awake a little bit and make sure that you're always available to if need be for things, stuff like that. Even though that's not anything close to what they've asked for. That's just how my brain works. And the only time I stopped doing that so much with people in the household was when I was in the last place with my ex. Because I just started going like, nah, fuck this, I need to go to bed. I have work in the morning, I have other stuff. I stopped caring at that point for what the fuck other people wanted. Once I came back after missing for 2 weeks, the room was quite cool. I got back to the usual temperature after 3 whole days, and the humidity came from clearly playing a role. Yeah, tell that your room is hot because you were in there. Exactly. So clearly I just need to move my office outside, and I just sit outside and play my games. They always told me to go outside more. Aren't it? Alright, I think I should get back to programming. I've done enough art for now. We've done some progress. We've got the art, the hair done up a little bit. We've got some of the better shaping. We've got the tail changed. I still don't like that tail, though. Oh, right. I probably need to run a... Oh god, am I gonna run another function in here? Might be the easiest way to do this. Okay, there we go. Alright, so amount. Actually, how am I gonna do that? We'll see. I'll see if I can mimic some stuff for that later. Okay, struct dot 0, 1, 2, 3. So funk 3. So value index. And then it would be would be looking for return value dot name equals do that for the moment, but it's definitely not how I could be doing it. Yeah, I shouldn't be doing it this way. I should be doing contexting it. Context of value to get name of trigger. There we go. Because that should fix that. Yeah. Oh! Hey, yo, Yuki! How's it going? I should probably stretch that. And hello, Raiders. Hope all's well. Hope you're able to take an opportunity to rest and hydrate. Oh. I swear I'm awake today. I swear. But, yeah. Oh. How's, the game been treating you that I'm blanking on? No Man's Sky, there we go. How's that been treating you? I hope that's been a good experience. I know I asked about it last time, but... trigger, array push. I need this to be array push. It'd be... struct.func 1. Struct. There we go. Got a super big ship suddenly today. Nice! So you're now going to go and take over the galaxy, I see. That's fair. That's pretty reasonable. I just dread the day when you get the fluff star and like fluff every planet. Though that wouldn't be probably such a bad idea, actually. Just imagining the scene at the end of the original trilogy, where it's just, instead of the Empress, you in the seat. But it's like the most wholesome scene. The only way to stop the fluffening is to defeat me. Good, good. Let the fluff flow through you. It's not even the stupidest bit I've done today. Hey, Anya, how's it going? Turns all coffee in the galaxy to tea. Hell yeah. You're right, my dude. Now that I played the Deadpool deck, my friends hate it. Yep. Yeah. No, this is the thing that I'll always stress with deck building, and I suffer from this as well, by the way, yeah. Is that, like, a deck may seem funny of an idea, but it can just be unfun for everyone else. And there is a mild obligation when it comes to Magic Commander, where you have to play with other people. One of the things that happened recently that really hurt my want to play the game was I was playing with what was it, two other people at home, and the game was kind of getting stalled out a shitload, and it was getting quite frustrating in a lot of ways. And then one player board wiped 2 turns in a row and then scooped. So he just quit the game. And he was winning as well. And it's like, cool. I really don't want to play this game anymore. Not because, like, because he was laughing his head off, and he was laughing as well because some of the cards we next played were like cards that benefited from other people being in, like, the more players of the game. And I'm like, that's not even the thing that I'm upset by. It's that I just don't want to play the game now. Like, why would I want to play this game out? And it's one of those things where I just sat there, I'm like, I'm just not going to acknowledge him during this whole time. I get he had his fun, and he's normally not like that. And I'm just like, those are the games where you kind of just don't want to play the game. Hey Toby, what exhilarating development is happening here? Really boring programming, realistically. But I should have had all of this fixed now, so I can actually test again. This isn't gonna do anything, but it should mean that we don't have a crash again. Except for if I go do that thingy. But yeah, it's the thing with a multiplayer game where it's a social environment, is that there is a mild obligation, in my opinion, to try and, like, play with other people, right? Like, that is something that I think is really important. So that's why I say, like, most of the time in my experience, a lot of Deadpool decks don't realize how unfun they are to play with. I don't think Deadpool's the problem. I think the way he's built often is. Okay, everything seems fine. I haven't tested the pathing in a while. I probably still need to, yeah. Still need work on the pathing. The eternal issue that is, like, how shit this pathing can feel. Maybe I just remove the vector architecture from them. Oh god, the game is lagging something fierce. Is it because there's too many units? It's having massive down points. Why is it having down points? It shouldn't have down points. Oh, that's why. Okay. So what's with the ears? Oh yeah, that's right. I turned them on earlier as a joke, and then I left them on, and I'm just kind of being lazy. We have cat ears today, don't ask. Why the f not, right? I think I was making a joke about how I don't have programmer socks. And I don't have them because I'm a very broad and big person in real life, which makes it really hard to, like, put cutesy things on me and it look good. And then someone said if they'd buy me the socks, would I wear them? And I'm like, I'll take a photo. And then someone said, but I want a whole stream of them. And I said, then you'd have to pay extra because I do have some standards. Oh, God, I hate my own self. What's that? It's complicated, but could you group nearby entities, use single path, finding circulation? I could. The issue actually is now technically not even that. It's because I have issues with getting around corners on some of it. So what's actually happening, I don't know if it was noticeable, is that if they fail to find a path, they just pop into a state of basically not existing, but existing. So they're taking up additional resources. They're not rendered, they're not functioning fully, but they're functioning enough to still probably constitute to a little bit of lag. I also just don't have good systems in place to handle mass enemies. I don't have a capping point either, so enemies can just keep spawning. But let's see if we can kind of showcase what I'm talking about. We need some to spawn so I can force it. Yeah, see? I can blink them out of existence. And then, like, if they try and take a corner and they fail miserably, you'll see that they blink out of existence as well. See? Up there. It's because I had so many issues with the pathfinding that I tried to do something with it. Basically, hide the enemy while they pushed outside of the terrain. To flicker them, or like basically teleport them away. Now they teleport to 0-0 for stuff, and then they're just destroyed. Well, they're not destroyed, they're just sitting there. The problem lies with the fact that the pathfinding is fine, the vector movement is fine, they don't work well together, because when you introduce a much more rigid pathfinding architecture, but having a magnitudinal based argument of how to move, it means that there's that turning time to get to the different angle, to the position, which means corners become difficult. And I haven't found a good solution for that, and I couldn't be asked, so I'm moving on to other things that require also large-scale attention. So it's not that I'm not working on it because I don't want to, it's because I have so many other things to do. Sitting on it when I don't have a good solution in mind is not worthwhile. Because they're using soft, I tried to use soft fucking void functionality as well with it, to try and like push them away from terrain and push them away from each other, so they'd also like move not overly coherently, and not sit on top of each other too aggressively. But it's just a nightmare. It's something I just need to like sit down and work on very heavily at some point. I just don't, I don't have an answer that's coming to mind that I'm happy with. I've tried a few different solutions, but nothing that I can think of. So I'm gonna probably look up some further stuff at some point. But, characters are also a priority, right? Getting all the weapons moved over and getting all of the skills, everything moved over to the new game is just, it takes a long time because we're setting up some things at the same time, like triggers. I'm just nodding, not understanding programming, so yeah, I do apologize when it does get like very overly jargony when it's like that. The short answer is, I can actually draw exactly what's happening. And I've talked about this before, and it's a really interesting thing to occur, right? If paint wants to show up. Any day. Windows. Okay. Oh, there we go. Is a collision of a slime a circle? You could extrude the walls collision by an amount to the radius of the slime during the pathfinding. The pathfinding's a star. And I'm not doing... I could do that, I guess. I could add buffer point. But, like, the problem is that the grid that I'm using is very set, and it's used for more than just one enemy. Right? Keep in mind, slimes aren't the only enemy. We have to accommodate all other enemies. So I could probably figure out something. Point is, okay. So, you keep hearing me say vector movement. For those that might not understand, vectors are basically, what I'm doing is there is a X and a Y. And this is the position of the thing. And what I'm doing is I'm taking these positions and I'm changing them according to values. This is very much just movement. But it's a little bit more complex in the fact that what I'm kind of also doing is I'm adding stuff like turning circle. So if a unit is going to go from this direction to this direction, they need to turn to that. So what will end up happening is instead of just going down and then moving this way, instead all of a sudden, they'll kind of curve. Now you can see where this is a problem with terrain corners, right? Is they'll try and run over the corner. But we have it so they collide with a corner most of the time. So this means that they might, per se, get stuck here. And the problem is that the pathfinding isn't smart enough to nudge them down safely, and then so they can get back to it. Because it's again, think of it as the slime, if we draw this again. If we've got a corner here, and we'll use the slime continuing as an example. This is the slime. This is the target of location it's moving to for its next point. Because keep in mind, it's basically like, these are the points that they're trying to move on. The normal pathing is telling it to go from here to here, to here to here. But because of the vector stuff, it's trying to path through to here. The problem is, the power to go down is lower than the power to go forward. So it can potentially, even if it's nudging downwards, still get permanently stuck right on this corner point here. That's basically the issue. The other problem is that sometimes, because of the way I've done it, the movement will push a little bit further into the wall. And once it's inside of a terrain point, it can no longer path at all. And it can't figure out a path, which is why they blink out of existence. So they'll just get permanently stuck inside of the terrain because of the movement. I can just imagine how I'd do it from scratch. Well, I mean, most of mine is from scratch. I'm also using inherent... okay. Game Maker has what's called, it has multiple pathing things, but the pathing it uses is A-star based. So if you know anything about A-star is what I'm talking about here, where it's basically a grid. And what I'm doing with the grid is that it's taking the points here, right? But what I'm also doing once I make the grid of the room is I'm then going through and going, hey, this space here is terrain. Remove these points from your list that you can do. So that's how we're getting these little stars down here. And that's why they're not having a star right here. Because it removes that one from the list. Yeah, here we go. So this is your pathing trigger here. So this is what's run on the enemies to do the pathing. What if you remove more points around your terrain as well? It's really hard to do that. I've done it, and it feels bad somewhat. It depends on how I do it. Because keep in mind as well, if I don't have any local pathing point and it doesn't consider it a thing, it will just lock down and the enemy can't move. So it might cause me other problems as well. Not a bad suggestion, I've tried to, but I might try at a different angle and it could work. Because we do have... Okay, if you want to actually see the grid... this is how we do the grid. This is the tile, the collision stuff. This bit of code here, primarily. So what I need to do is something similar to no, that's not gonna work, that. What I need to do is I need to do how I do the spawn grid. I wonder. What? I don't know what happens if I duplicate try and add cell. Because I could try and do something very lazy here. Something along these sorts of lines. This doesn't give the corners thing, which is the problem. The other weakness as well is that the grid map will not fit right. So I assume this would crash if I tried this. There's two reasons why this can crash, but I expect it to crash. It's either out of range or you can't re-add a cell. It's not crashing. It's not working. I mean, it also might be the trimming that's fucking it up. Because I do trim the path. With this. Gonna leave you with that to your own work. Before I go, I'll ask you a question. Have you heard of a game of... have you heard of a game of Baldur's Gate 3? Because I want you thought of what class I'll pick for the first time playing. So I've played a good bit of Baldur's Gate 3. Depending on kind of what you want to do, because like if you're planning to play more solo-ish, and not with like the AI companions, that matters. I recommend playing with the AI companions when you can. But it's kind of like fill the party role that you're missing. Keep in mind you can respec anytime. So just anything that sounds interesting. Is like my immediate thought to that. But you can just respec. I believe it costs like a little bit of money each time you do it. But like you can respec constantly. And I mean like from... You'll keep your level, but you'll be able to reapply every single level and choose your class differently each time. You can multi-class, everything. I kind of like Wild Shape Druid, because you can be a owlbear. That's genuinely about the grandest thing I can say towards it. Yeah. That's why I say, like, it might just be, like, whatever sounds interesting and go from that point onwards. Circle of the Moon Druid, I see? Yeah, I think it's literally called that in the game. Again, it is actually just D&D rules. So if you know I think it's 5th edition, or whatever the fucking recent-ish one was that they based it off. I can't remember which edition it is. Point is, if you kind of know modern editions, you basically know what classes are in there. There's I think Ranger has been upgraded though, so it's not absolute garbage like it is. Well, it's pretty bad, but it's not as garbage as it is in like the actual rules. My favorite class is the Artificer. Yeah, I don't think there's an Artificer. I mean, what about the Artificer did you enjoy? Is my immediate question. Because, like, if it's... Because there might be stuff that's similar enough to tickle your fancy. I know there's a build I would like to try at some point next time I play it that's going to be really stupid, but... Making of magic items is the neat part. Is there something similar? Not that I can remember that really sticks out to me. I don't know. I mean, that's that thing. I think, like, one of the classes that I was pleasantly surprised looks really fun was, I want to say it was, like, Paladin. Paladin looks really, really fun. So the utility and the bonus damage from the artillerist, yeah. But, I mean, that's why I say, like, at the end of the day, the gameplay is very, very rooted in 5e. So, like, if you kinda know 5e, you'll know better than I about the classes then at that point. Like, I know gameplay-wise, and it's a little bit more watered down, but overall a little bit more balanced as well between the classes, but it's all pretty much the same. Vacation is over tomorrow and have to get back to work. Yay! Always the best time. Gotta love work. It's just so much fun. Oh. Do I have that still open? No, I do not. Okay. Because I had another deck that I was working on because I saw a copy of a precon for like $50 on Trade Me. I kind of want to pick it up. Y'all want to see a deck that I want to make because, of course, you got to make one of these decks one of these days. And I'm actually surprised that our household doesn't have a single one of these decks. Looked at the collection of books which contain all the 5e books and some third-party 5e books. Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah, exactly. As if you know the foundation stuff, you'll be able to probably pick what you want to do. Just think about, like, weird synergies as well. That's always the fun one. Games are always... The game environment's really good for that. So, I saw this deck for, like... this precon for like $50 on Trade Me, and I was like, maybe I could pick this up and make this. Because, like, everything that's added here, outside of, like, 2 or 3 cards I own. Or in the precon. So if anyone's wondering, I think the actual commander for it is this one. It's, the Phyrexia will be 1 Corrupting Influence precon. I don't think I want this as the commander, because this feels really ironic, toxic. I actually like this as the commander more. But yeah, no, I realized that our household doesn't have, like, a, infect deck. And I thought this would be funny to try and make. So, basically, all I did was add, like, a couple of cards, from an Asban deck I already have, like Falathar. He's currently the commander of it. And add, like, a couple of other cards that are in that deck at the moment. Binding of Old Gods and Phyrexian Arena. And then just, yeah, upgraded land bases like Wastewood Verge and a couple of other dual land things. Added a bit more ramp to it as well with, because I think it has Cultivate inherently and Expand the Sphere. But, like, Nature's Lore and 3 Visits I have sitting there. I could also probably put in a fucking, Rampant Growth, but eh. But yeah, I just slightly upgraded some of the stuff, and then just, I think, yeah, Piteless, Poison Tip Archer, Finn the Fang Bearer, because I'm like, yeah, fucking might as well, because I do have, a foil version of this. So, I mean, I might as well use it, right? But yeah, like, I think, yeah, I added also, like, Llanowar Elves and Devoted Druid. Especially with Devoted Druid. No Flicker Staff, don't own Flicker Staff. Again, that's why I say, like, the vast majority of these I own. The only few I don't that I'm like, no, it's worth grabbing are, I think it's Bloated Contaminator is one of them. And then there's another one. Trying to remember. There was another one that I've added in here that I have to go separate to get, and I'm trying to remember what the fuck it was. Because, like, I own an Evolution Witness to put in here. I can't remember what it was. I literally think there's only 2 cards for this entire deck I'd have to go purchase for it. The rest I have. And my drawer next to me. Or, again, not owning the precon. Oh, fucking, I'm dumb. Rot Priest. This was the other one that I was like, ah, yeah, I'll pick one of these up. Because, again, like, that's all really cheap. I'd probably consider a couple of other things, but, like, I'm already kind of touch and go with wanting to spend much more money. I just thought this would be a funny deck to do, and I've already... Because I'm trying to make a deck in each color and not duplicate too much. So, like I said, I've got an Asban deck, but I really don't like it because it just ended up being a shitty Aristocrats deck. Like, it just felt bad because it was Falafar as the front. And I have the deck somewhere. And it's been upgraded, like, by 1 card because I put the fucking Evolution Witness into it, because I gave my Evolution Witness to someone else, and then they got some, so they gave them back. But it was basically, this is the deck, and I don't like this deck. It didn't play very nice. And I fully acknowledge it was a deck building reason, not another grander reason. It was like, it's Aristocrats life gain. Focusing more on the life gain of the Aristocrat side of things. But I just don't have the token generation to justify it, and it just falls flat too quickly. You can make an argument it's because I don't have a Soul Ring in there. It isn't. Trust me. The games were not decided by a Soul Ring. They were decided by the fact that I just couldn't get onto the board. Ever. And that's because I don't have token doublers nor a lot of token creation. In fact, the worst part is a lot of my token creation also are legendaries. So duplicating them wouldn't even help. Like, this deck's just bad. I fully acknowledge it was bad. It was a thing I tossed together because I just had the spare cards. Which is why I think this one would be more interesting to build. It also means that I have a poison counter deck. Like, an infect deck sounds funny. Like, I know Infectious Bite should go in here. Infectious Bite's insanely good. Stuff like that. I could probably put in more. Like, there's the snake that, like, where you're attacking creatures have death touch as well. I could put in here really easily. Stuff like that. So, again... Fully, the inspiration behind this is the fact that I found this deck on Trade Me for 50 bucks. And I'm like, I want to have an Infect deck one day. This feels like one of the most, like, fair ways I can do that without... Because, like, it's not me sitting there with a fucking Atraxa and just, like, full going ham, having every color but red to just rush you down with fucking stuff and proliferate every turn. This feels a little bit better. It's still got a lot of proliferate, admittedly. But it feels like the ways to win are a little bit more open, especially with this commander. I'm not gonna lie, this commander was what sold me the most for this. Is that it's like, oh, it's got Menace, it's got Toxic 1. When it enters, you get 3/1/1 things with Toxin 1 and can't block, but the main thing is, also, this gets +1/+1 for each poison counter your opponents have. So it actually means I could play this as a toxic Voltron deck. And I actually really liked the feel of that. Because especially with Trailblazer boots being in there, that'll feel quite nice. And shit like that. Like, I was actually genuinely quite impressed with how this would feel kind of tossed together. There would be some tuning that would need to be done, but that's why, like, I've tossed Llanowar Elves in there to help with mana problems. I've kept a lot of the artifact mana in here as well, because I do think that there will be some burstier turns because of it. I mean, there's no way in hell you don't run Glistening Sphere. Glistening Sphere is basically one of the best cards to ever run in any Infect deck ever. Like, holy shit, this card's insane. It enters tapped, when it enters Proliferate, you either tap it for 1, keep in mind it's a 3 mana fucking mana rock, so it's already made you back everything you need, but it also has 3 mana if there's an opponent that has 3 or more poison counters. Like, that's so good. It being entered tapped is its only weakness, but untapping that shit for 3 mana is insane. It's like why I looked at the fucking, what was that one mana rock from Avatar Aang that looks really good at the moment? The Waterbender's Pouch, I think it's called. Which it untaps, it also untaps on like other players' upkeeps. Which is really good. Villain Commander, Corruption, and Infect are 2 different archetypes. One wants to kill with poison, the other wants to edge with the poison. Yeah, it's kind of that, I'll admit, I agree. Somewhat. Like, this deck feels a little bit more like Corrupt. Like the Corruption is what it's triggering for. But it has, like, again, that's why I say the Commander can kill you, so it's different ways. I kinda like that. It gives, again, that's the fun part with precons, is they tend to be wide and broad and tend to be kind of shit because of that. This one, I feel, the biggest weakness is that it is still that thing, but with just that little bit of tuning, it feels really quite interesting, because it's like, I'm working with Proliferate, so that's why I want to add a couple more 1/1 counter things. Like, I want to add more counters to the deck. That's why I put Falithar in there. Because giving my entire board +1/+1 counters is really strong, even if I'm sacking, like, something kind of good for it. Because I could proliferate that and make a very scary board that you want to board wipe for 2 reasons, but it's also not solving one of the other issues. Right? Like, the biggest issue this deck will have is you've always been put on a clock. Once you get a poison counter on you, it's hard. Anyway, gotta go. Bye-bye. Catch you later, Matthew. Thank you for stopping by. But yeah, like, I think that's one of the things I love the most with a lot of that stuff. I wonder how I could improve upon this. I mean, I could do... also to get rid of the corners. So it would be +1, +2. Because, let's see. X is I, J is thing. So that's 2 of the corners done. So then I do the -1 + 2. Do that. Will that look better? Yeah, no, that's the issue. So when they're outside of these grid things, they can't path anymore. Because that's the movement architecture there. Because this is what's blinking them away here. Because it's basically what it's trying to do is find in the nearest coordinate, and move to that. It should be acceptable. The problem is it's not finding acceptable coordinates correctly. Because I've probably coded something incorrectly. So now if we do this, they'll spawn near the terrain, but then there's some of them that is just gonna stop moving. Because they're near the fail point. Because they're technically outside of path points. Do you see what, like, the issue is with the pathing, though, now? That's why I say, like, technically the solution isn't as simple as just adding a buffer range. It's I need to make it so they can't go into these zones that are considered not pathable. There's a lot just going wrong with the pathing. That's why it's a much grander issue that requires a much greater sit down with it at some future stage. Whether I remove the vector pathing aspect of it, or what is definitely something up for consideration. Alright, yeah, that's that done. Okay. Alright, there's nothing else there to deal with. What is this? What did I see? Alright, okay. And then there's much else I can do here other than, like, working on the actual trigger system. Do I want to cool down for how often the healing thing can go off? Probably for code reasons I should. Quarter of a second. So you can't... blow the fucking game up if you heal a shitload at once. Yeah, in fact, there's a reason why a lot of games have these boring internal cooldowns, is because they don't want you to fucking nuke the game, and the game to explode everywhere and just destroy your PC. It's incredible. I know, it's almost like some of us game developers actually care. Who would have thought? How dare us? I thought we were in it for the money. Oh. Is there anything else that's, like, really easily, urgently doable? So that's the problem, is, like, so Hell's Bells was weird, because it basically was a weapon design done non as a weapon, so it ripped a bunch of weapon architecture out to do it. And I'm wondering how I want to approach it this time around. Do I want to add more flexibility to that, or like, do I want to try and see if I can nudge a weapon in? Is that what I need to do? I'm gonna put that there for now to try and remind myself I need to somehow get, get the struct ref point so can pull the live data from it. There we go. Because we're gonna need it to get the damage, right? The damage is the only thing that's actually gonna change. At all. Like everything else about it's gonna be pretty much straightforward linear. I mean, this is so again. The other thing this is going to start doing is going to start setting the expectation of where things should be and where things should go. Because like what I'm doing here, this is technically an example of what's kind of going to be. But no, I need to do it this way around. It will be better to just have it as always amount as the last one added. Because then it's just only a ray push and it's nothing complex. That should sort out that. And I think we have the healing here, right? I'm gonna have to add pass-through info. Yeah. Do that. And then... Um... I'm seeing problems. Hmm... Okay, wait. So has the music run out again, has it? Or is just the web page frozen? It has run out. Okay. I might finish up soon then, because that's been like 4 hours of music. Yeah, it's nearly 4 hours. Okay, so I'll finish up by writing what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna make var args equals this, and then it's array push. My brain has been dead for a while. Time to get my 2 hours of sleep. Yeah, exactly, right? Args. Actually, no, it should be array concat. Array concat. Args equals args pass through info, then array push args. Kind of does the thing, but it doesn't still do the thing. There we go. Okay, so the idea of what I'm doing there quickly is to have pass through info, and it will just pass through as the arguments architecture. I need to handle a bunch of trigger things correctly. I don't think I'm handling them really nicely, though. The trigger architecture is a really fragile system. Best explained as what I'm trying to ensure is there's no looping, duplicate, infinite effects. That is what I'm trying to prevent. The problem is that is easier said than done with some of this, and that's kind of the problem. All I'm doing here, hopefully, is I'm just going to be passing through names, so if a name turns up, it goes, no, you triggered off this already, you can wait. And then that's pretty much it. But it's so overly, like, fragile to get that all done correctly. So, because I didn't do this in the last one, I did things way, way more, like, complex and interconnected. This means it's all, like, through one narrow chute, which makes it a lot easier to track, but it means that it's, if I don't make that chute correctly, I'm not doing things well. And it should, as much as what I said, that's why I'm refactoring, is I did too much of that. This is a situation that it should mean that, like, we can trigger more at once, and it be less taxing on the game, which is important. Are the triggers going to happen only once? Some are. Some triggers are going to go, hey, this needs to know, or not, whether or not this can trigger again in a list. Like, let's give a very brief example. What happens if you have an effect that's you heal when you deal damage? It's 100% the case. When you heal, you'll deal 1 damage. And then whenever you deal damage, you heal. What happens? If I don't have a percentage in there, even if I do, there isn't a chance it just goes infinite. So, what you do in those cases is you do a couple of things. You have it so, oh, this healed, so then you'll deal damage, and then it will trigger the on damage effects, and then it will see that this name is the same as one already in the list, and go, oh, I'm not going to trigger this heal effect on the damage. So it will void it from going. The other thing we can do is cooldowns, which is also what I've been doing here. And that should also alleviate these problems a little bit. Also, normally adding percentage chances, if you add all of these 3 things together, you pretty much don't have a case where a random infinite cycle might occur. Because keep in mind, an infinite cycle, irregardless of how it's getting triggered, can just freeze the game or break it completely. And that's something we're trying to avoid. Not because I think it's I'm being unfun, it's because if I don't do that, the game crashes. And that's not an experience you actually probably want the vast majority of the time as a player. So, cooldown sounds more reasonable. All three of them kind of work in tandem, if you do it correctly. Again, I'm not going to be very often locking certain ones out. I'm just going to be like, hey, you can't, like, if this is occurring in the list, it shouldn't occur again. Keep in mind, like, an on-heal effect dealing damage, these will stem and they'll create their own trees and maybe still have interconnected duplication, but there's never going to be a true, like, infinite cycle that'll occur. That's the avoidance. And there'll be some of them that are denoted that, like, no matter what, they'll still trigger. Like, if I have it so on-heal deals damage, but I just make it so the dealing damage healing is not going to chain off itself. Something like that. But, with that being the case, I'm going to finish up here. So, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. You're awesome. Stay awesome. And I hope to see you again next time. Until then, bye-bye.